Hey everybody, I thought y'all might like to see me cooking soap here at the market. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's a very eventful cooking because we got some crazy stuff happening. Overflowing and explosions. Anyway, so don't miss out. Stay with me and let's cook some soap. Hey everybody. Alright, I'm making soap at the market. And I've got all my crock pots. We put the stuff in there. We got it all melted till it's clear. I've touched my finger on it. It just feels lukewarm. So to me, that's perfect. I've had my lye water in the refrigerator. It's cold. To me, that's perfect. And I never have to worry about a volcano. And so now I'm just going to start putting it all in there. And we got to get all the lye water out of this bucket because our recipe calls for all the lye water in this bucket. And I found that this rocking motion does the trick. Now I'm going to put the lid on it and turn the crock pot on. Now, would you like to see one up close? Come with me. We are going to see one up close. Let's see if I can get the camera set. Okay. Now, let's see if I'll have to pull it forward. I have to do something. Hang on. There we go. Alright. And let me turn this here where I can see and get this where you can see. It's a little bit cloudy because I put my stick blender from this one over into this one, so see it turning into pudding? Sometimes it turns pinkish and sometimes it turns creamy. And I know there's probably a reason why one recipe will turn pink and the other will turn cream. Or why it turns pink and then turns cream. But who knows? See, that rocking motion works. Okay, and it all's blended up and it looks like sort of like vanilla pudding. And so now I'll turn on my crock pot, push it back, throw that in the next one, and stick the lid on the little booger. Alright, you want to see some more? I thought you might say that. So let's do some more. I'm going to put these in the sink. Safety first. Okay, got two more here. Now what I'm doing is a 0% superfat recipe. So that means that 100% of the soap that's in this pot, 100% of the oil that's in this pot is going to be turned into soap. And I'm using base oils that I know is happy about turning into soap. Because some oils like pumice olive oil and a few of them like that, they don't like turning into soap 100%. They, there we go. They just like to turn a little bit into soap. And so then you got super fats you didn't even ask for in there. And of course olive oil makes soap extremely soft. I never put olive oil in any of my soap recipes because I don't want my soap to be soft and hard to cure. And so I'll use it as a super fat, but as a base oil, I use oils that are easily turned into soap. Oh, I'm getting a bunch of text messages. Now I gotta unplug it over here. Oh, there goes another. There goes another. I bet you somebody's got soap making questions. I get a lot of questions. People asking how to do stuff, or they have something happen and they're not sure what to do. And I get to those just as quick as I can. And I do prefer the text messages, especially if you organize them into short questions. You asked a short question, let me answer. Asked another short question, let me answer. When the questions are 3 pages long, it's too hard on this little bitty phone. I got this little bitty phone, and it's just too much. Yeah, I got 4 questions. Let's see. Yeah, see? 1, 2, 3, 4. I always like it better when you send me one at a time. All right, so I'll get back with her just as soon as I can. All right, let me go get some more lye. I got it sitting over there on the table. I don't think I turned this on. Gotta use claws with that. Lord. Oh, now there's a volcano for you. There is a volcano. That's what happens. Let me get you a close-up. Total disaster. Look at that. You see? That is why you never put your lye water in your soap when it is hot. I didn't notice, but I hadn't turned the crock pot off, and this oil was still on high. And so when you put cold lye or hot lye in hot oils, that is your volcano, and that's what happens. Glory be, that one's ruined, just ruined. And that's going to be a mess to clean up too. I'll show you how I do it. But we'll go on and get these other two. But this morning when I got up here and I turned all of them on to get them thing, whenever I flipped them, I didn't flip that one off. So there you go. I hadn't had one of those in eons. Ain't nothing, no reason to cry over spilt milk now. I got it turned off. It'll have to cool down to clean it up. Now I'll have to wear gloves and all that stuff. Look at it, just making a mess. It's all my fault. All my fault. Well, we'll go over here. Here, I'll bring you in for another close-up. You guys see that? Look at that mess. Now my curiosity's getting going. I'm thinking, could we save it? Got me a customer, so we'll come back to that question. Okay, we took care of that. So now what could we do to save that? Is it possible? Let's get a spatula. Hang on. Let's see. And you can see how dangerous that is when a volcano occurs. And not that I would use this and sell it, but I could save this for laundry detergent. We want to put the rest of that lye water in there. Alright, let's get this lid out of the way. Hang on. I dropped my spatula a while ago. Ooh, look at it go again. See, it's so hot. It's on, I mean, I've unplugged it, but it was on high because I was melting. Okay, now we'll try to clean up this mess. There we go. I left my water running so I wouldn't have to touch anything. Okay, put that over there. All right. There it goes again. Just think what would have happened if my lye had been hot. It might have spewed out in my face. Yep. I'm glad that y'all were here when this happened. You can't never get the video camera to just walk over here, turn itself on when you want it to. You know, when that strange thing happens that you'd have loved to show to everybody on YouTube. Look at the soap it made sitting down here on the counter. I tell you, what's with all this volcano stuff? This one's not supposed to be volcanoing. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, y'all can see it. What's going on? This is what used to happen when I used to put my soap together and my lye together too hot. I tell people, don't leave it for the first hour. You gotta watch it every second. Alright. Leave the lid like that. Now we got to get our vinegar out. Rub it around. There we go. I'll rub that vinegar on the front part of this crock too, and on the handles, so I'll feel safe to touch them. Wouldn't hurt to rub some on the cord. I know it got on the cord. There we go. I swear. I'll be right there.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, you just scanned it and you don't have me, I don't have to sign or nothing. All right, thank you. Uh-huh. I think the thermostats went out on this little bugger because it was off, oil was the right temperature, lye was cold. Okay, so now we're gonna put this in on low and see if we can cook us up some laundry detergent. And we're gonna just wash the heck out of that one. Put the vinegar away. And see if we can make soap. Y'all ought to look at that. That is just terrible. Look at that. I think the thermostats went out in it. And it's like cooking on overdrive. I bet there ain't no telling what it's doing. I turned it off. Ay, ay, ay. So anyway, so let's see if we can get these last two going. Keep you cool, Kimberly, because your soap has lost its head. Okay. Lordy, lordy. That was my ace fender, but I'll have to call her back because I've got to keep an eye on this soap here that's volcanoing over there. Plus, I got to get this other soap going. This rocking motion, that always works. Okay. Put that down in there. Goodness gracious, sakes alive. Look at that. Just look at that. This is being nicer. Get that on up on high. Get it going again. we'll just have to see how that goes. We'll make this one here for laundry detergent. And see how this one will be saved. It's just a point of what's causing that, because that one was not too hot. And so it may be my thermostat's freaking out on my crock pot. Alright guys, I'll bring you back and let you know if anything eventful happens. Okay, it's been just a few minutes and they seem to have calmed down. This is the one we're going to make laundry detergent out of because it got all over the counter and I just don't find that sanitary, and it's not going to be perfect. This one here, I was able to save it from going out on the counter, so so we're gonna be pretty good here. And it just got too hot, and it's really strange because I had them all turned off and cooling, except for I'd forgot that one. It could be this one was on low and I thought it was on off, but in any case, we've got these two are cooking. They seem to be faring up okay. You can see how this one's went straight to the Vaseline stage because it got so hot. And whatnot. So the others are acting perfectly normal. This one here is starting to froth up, so we'll do that thing we do with that one. Well, I'll have to get one of those things. Hang on. See, they can pop right out of here. So we're going to do the tic-tac-toe method and let some air out and give it a place in the center to breathe. And pull off that lock it's got going. This one here, it didn't completely tic-tac-toe because it done got sort of past the tic-tac-toe stage. Definitely responds, there we go, to have the air kicked out of it. You can see the heat from the bottom will escape through those lines I created. There we go. And the round ones are worse about that than the oval ones. And this here seems to have settled itself down. I've got them on low. I've got to where I cook all my soaps on high for about an hour because I have gotten them cool. You know, the lye's cold, the lye water's cold, and the I think I got this tilted down too far. There we go. The lye water being cold and the oils being room temperature, I can throw it up on high for about an hour and then bring it back down to low and cook the rest of the way. So anyway. So we're cooking with gas. Now I'll bring you back. Okay, I was just stirring this and I found this big white chunk, and that is the soap that's still in the state of gel. If I could scrape it down, there we go. See the whiteness? It's just slowly coming out of jail. And every crock pot cooks a little different. And this one here is just a touch hotter. Of course, these two were the first two that were perking. Let me bring you to this next one. Now you can see the gel right there, and I'm just going to break that up so it'll come out of gel quicker. That right there is still light active. What's in gel? So I'm breaking that up some. If you put your super fats in now, it gets all liquefied and ugly. And then, so see these two, they're cooking hotter. See these two, they're cooking slower. We know what happened with them two. And then of course these were the last two to be put together, so they're still just thinking about it. Let's see what this one looks like. I put these two down on low. This is the one that volcanoed, but not too severely. And so it's a cooking okay. Got it on low. Now once these come completely out of jail, these two here, I'll put them down on low. Okay. So the next thing, of course, is to wash up all these containers that we had our lye in. And if you want to, after you get your soapy water going, you can add some vinegar. That's just up to you. I keep vinegar and bleach down here on the right below my sink, and then I keep vinegar on the other side too. I have to keep a lot of vinegar because we have to worry about, well, things like what happened today. And so then you can just wash your thing. And I use a lot of Dawn. I had a woman send me a message that natural people didn't like Dawn. Why, they're always cleaning up them oil spills with Dawn. I mean, all those little critters always get a Dawn bath if they get oil on them. But she said that she was sending me that for my personal benefit, that people that were natural didn't like Dawn and bleach. I had another woman send me a message that natural people didn't like bleach and for cleaning. I mean, I ain't drinking it. Well, we do to a certain degree. If you drink your city water, it has bleach in it. And you can use bleach. I know them preppers, they put a little bit of bleach in the water that they're storing for survival purposes. They put bleach in it to keep the water from going bad. But she sent me a message that natural people don't like bleach. I had another woman that told me natural people didn't like Dawn. I'm always having somebody telling me what I need to do about stuff like that. But I tell you, I just don't think I could survive without my bleach and Dawn. Maybe they can, but when you're cooking up the amount of soap that I am, if you want to get the grease off of it, you got to have some bleach and Dawn. And I don't know how they survive without bleach and Dawn. But according to her and the other, natural people don't like bleach and Dawn. I've always been bleach and Dawn addicted, and I've always thanked God that I'm not allergic to it. I can put me a little bit of bleach in a spray bottle and stick me some water in there and be able to clean things and kill mold and mildew and bacteria and not break out. And I know people that's allergic to stuff like that, so I'm real grateful that I'm not one of them. Because I do love me some bleaching dough. Oh, man. These don't really get dirty. They just get a little bit of lye water vapor on them. There we go. Now, got that cleaned up. Let's check this soap out. Alright. Now it's time to put this in down on low. If you dry your soap out too much by cooking it on too high heat, it'll stick to the sides and your heat is not even, you know, it's just around the sides. So once it's cooked about an hour, then you need to constantly, every so often, stir it so that the soap on the sides won't get too dried out from being up against direct heat. So now that one there is ready to cook for its final hour on low. Let's see what we got. Can you see the next one? Oh, yep, you can see the next one. This one here's got the little butt crack thing going. And you can see where it's starting to stick right there. Gotta scrape that off. That's where it's getting extra dried out and right next to the wall of the crock pot. Alright, so we're out of Alright, so we'll cut that one down on low. And then this one here is off. No wonder. Put it on high. I was making cold processed soap, see? I tell you, what a morning. Alright, so got that one perking. Make sure I got this one on right. Yeah. And see how these two here, they're looking a little bit better. This one, because it cooks, it volcanoed, it made it cook faster. So I put this one down on low. So now that one's going to cook its hour. This one here is all soupy. You see, we lost stuff. Stuff got down on the counter and I wasn't able to get it all in there. So I'm hoping it's still going to make laundry detergent. That's one of them things. If you don't get your recipe accurate, you ain't going to have accurate soap recipes. And you ain't gonna make good soap. You always gotta measure with a digital scale. So we'll see how that perks. And then these two here are just getting going. I think I will scoop the center out of that one so it can breathe. Just do it with a spoon. That one there is getting on. Going. We'll just chop her up. Okay. These are still on high. Now don't cook your soap on high if you put your lye and your water together at a hotter temperature, because this is what happens. It goes crazy. All right, everybody. This is the one that volcanoed before. And it is sticking to the sides, and that's because it got so hot and it lost a lot of its moisture by that overflowing thing going on. And that's typically what happens when one gets way too hot, is they lose moisture. So you have to scrape them down good and keep things perking. And then this in here, it's still pretty liquidy. Don't know if this will make soap or not. May have to leave the lid off of it. A lot of the oil, you know, escaped out onto the counter. So it's over moisturized with water. So I might leave the lid off of it and let some of the steam get out, and maybe that'll make it better. That's our, you know, laundry detergent now. These two on the end, they're perking good. This one here is just now coming out of jail. And slowly. Come here, let me show you. See right there? It's always good to keep them scraped down good. Woo! That was hot. Hot, hot, hot. Alright. Let's go down here and look at these. This one here, I can still feel that thickness, you know, of it coming out of jail. It's not completely out of jail. But it is time to cut it down on low. And I don't really recommend that high cooking to people that are new at it. Okay. And see, this one here is just getting started, and it had really got hard, so it's real important to break this up, and so that it don't pop its cork from steam building up underneath it. There we go. Because it's late. Alright. And it had gotten pretty firmly gelled with no heat. This one here is doing good. See how I'm still sort of white and frothy? To me that means you ain't done cooking yet. Oh, need to cut that one down on, oh, it was on low. Yeah, this one's on low. All right, so there we go. We're still cooking. We're in stages of cooking for odd reasons. For one, these are harder crock pots, so they're cooking along quite well, even though they were the first to be mixed. This one here is way behind on the times because it was accidentally left off. These here, this one's doing normally. This one volcanoed, and this one just downright erupted. This one because I had it on high, and I still hadn't figured out what caused that. Maybe I had left it on low and didn't notice it, but I thought I flipped them all off. But it was early, and normally I don't cook soap first thing in the morning like this. I cook it after I done got woked it up. So anyway, so these here are cooking normally, but they were the last to go in because we were dealing with this mess. We'll see. Okay, guys, I started without you. It's been about 30 minutes. I cut these down on warm because they were just cooking too fast. And you can see we're getting some of the Vaseline stage in here, and it don't sound like air bubbles popping when I'm stirring it. So these are good, and we can put the super fats in those. Let me find them. We'll need some spatulars. There's one. Let me see if I got you close enough. Okay. We got a spoon for this one. A spoon for this one. This is bar number 3. And that one's very popular. It's good for ladies. It's the ladies soap. And I make half of it blue. I know you think that's gonna be plum, but I make half of it blue and half of it non-colored, and I always do 2 batches instead of dividing a batch because it's just easier. And I'm gonna put this back up on low to melt the super fats. I normally set the super fats beside the crocks and let them pre-melt with the heat of the crock, but I didn't today because I got sidetracked with soap blowing over the crocks. So put this one on low. So I got big pieces of shea butter that's melting. And so where before I had a 0% superfat soap, now after the lye is dead, I'm adding my organic unrefined shea butter, my organic coconut oil. See it turn blue? Isn't that fun? The heat turns that alkanet root blue. And alkanet root is safe to use in cold processed soap and hot processed soap. And so anyway, I'm going to scrape that white soap off in the garbage can. That was on my spoon already. There we go. Alright. So now we have these. And so that's bar number 3. So now this one here was the one that was slow. Hear that foamy sound? So when I stirred it, so it's not done yet. But this one, oh, this one is done. But these were going to be mates here, but now they're on a different time schedule. But I ain't showing you. Here we go. These were going to be pairs. It was another bar where it took 2 batches to do it. And this one here, well, it's a little foamy too. We might just wait a little bit and let that other one catch up. When it foams, when you can hear the bubbles popping, I say it ain't done. And that one's still sort of foamy. So, let's see what this one's set on. Yeah, that one's on low and this one's on high, so they might catch up. They ain't ready for super fats yet. And then this one here should be more than ready. So, yeah. Well, it's sort of foamy, but it's, see that Vaseline stuff going on? And maybe we'll give this one just a little bit longer too, but we're gonna have to scrape down the sides, sticking on the sides. Yeah, hear all that snap, crackle, and pop. So, now that one's on low, so we'll let that one cook a little bit longer. It's not ready for super fats. And then this in here, I turned it off to see what it would do. And it's real liquidy. And so I'm gonna pour it up into some molds and see what happens with it. It might still make good laundry detergent. And then these two here were the last ones to go, so I'm gonna assume, yeah, hear all that snap, crackle, and pop. You can see some Vaseline going on, some of that shiny stuff going on, but it's just not quite ready. So we'll leave that one for a little longer. It's not ready. It's on low. And then we'll do this in here. And still going snap, crackle, pop here too. So these are on low. They got at least another 30 minutes left on them. But we'll pour this up and see what happens. Okay. It's so liquidy. I think the only thing we're going to be able to do is just pour. And then scrape out what didn't pour. It don't really matter that much because we're just going to grind this up into laundry detergent. But we'll see if that makes soap. Okay, I turned them off. Now I got to stir up these super fats real good. All that shea butter melted, but Now we got to get it blended. And I'll leave the lid sort of half on and half off, let some of the heat out so it will cool down, but not cool too fast. I might just leave the, there we go. That'll get it propped up right. So that's number 3. Now we'll cool that one down to 160 degrees and put in the super fats. Put in the color. This is annatto seeds ground. The cold processed soapers sometimes buy annatto seeds whole, and then they steep them or water bath them in oil. Excuse me. And then that turns the oil the color they want, and then they use that oil to make their soap, and it's colored. But with us hot processed soapers, if you ever buy the seeds whole and you try to grind them, you'll wish you didn't, because they are the dickens to grind. And I've got some really good grinders, and I'm just telling you right now, buy them pre-ground and be done with it, because it ain't worth it no other way. And I moved my super fats to where they were sitting next to my crock pot, and that melted my super fats, so they went in almost 100% melted. Put the lid on there for it to cool. And this is number 5. I do half of it one way and half of it with the annatto seed. So it's sort of like an orangey red swirl in white soap or non-colored soap. And I'm real fond of that. There we go. Alright, I'll clean up this mess and we'll do the next. Alright, this is bar number 7. And I don't put any color in it because I'm going to do a mold swirl on this one. This is the one that blew up. It didn't come over the top though. If that lye water hadn't have been cold from the refrigerator, it would have come over the top. And now when it comes over the top like this, after it's been blended together, you can just scoop the soap up and put it back in the crock pot as long as your table area is clean. I don't know that my table area is perfectly clean, so it wasn't a good bet for me on this one. Even if it hadn't, and look, there's oil even in there. It overflowed and got in that crock pot. That crock pot's a mess. The whole thing's gonna have to have a bath. Okay, so that was bar number 7. We're gonna do a pot swirl on that one so we don't put any color. Whoop. I almost made another mess. Feel it thick down there at the bottom where it got dried out. This crock pot's a little hotter than the other one. You'll feel it being real thick down there on the bottom. You can see how it's sticking on the sides. See, we've got to scrape that off. I hope you can see and I'm not in your way of the camera. And so there we go. I turn this one off. This one here is you know, it still needs a little time, but it's drying out a bit because the heat was a little hot, so I'm gonna turn that one on low. This one here needs a little bit more time, and so I'm gonna leave it on low. But this one I'm gonna let it cook off with the heat that's already going in that crock pot, and just, you know, you don't have to have it turned on. Once it gets that hot, it'll cook for a while turned off. But they're not quite ready for their super fats, so we'll have to wait on those. Okay, now I've been letting this cool a while. You'll see some super fats have pooled at the top that weren't blended well, and I've got a little crispy layer there. So you got to stir it real regular when you're letting it cool. That blends the super fats that hadn't got blended, that melted, mostly the hard ones. Scrape down your sides good, and keep letting it cool. And put a thermometer in it. These are my favorite thermometers, these candy thermometers. I love these things. That's got a piece of hard soap on it. You swirl it around, bring it to the middle and swirl. And we're over 160. It's hitting 180 nearly. Now I think it's gonna hit 180 or close to it. So it's not quite ready yet, but I'm gonna leave one thermometer in there so I can keep a watch on it. Maybe that was 100, yeah. No, that was 190, so see, we still got a long ways to go. Whoop, sorry about that. Okay, same thing. We've got some super fats that just melted. It was pooling on the top. We're blending up our Crispies. And now we're gonna let those keep cooling. These two over here, see where they're at. I'd already stirred them. Yeah, 200 degrees or so. So they still got a ways to go. I find that they do better when you leave the lid partial. Sometimes I take it off when I'm in a hurry, but I got to where I don't do it unless I have to. The soap just don't come out as good. And so these last two over here, turn that one off. I'm gonna turn that one off now. Put the super fats in that one. This is bar number 23. That's bar number 1. Well, I don't have spoons. I don't know why I don't have spoons. Let me go get spoons. And we'll just stir in those super fats. This is colored with slippery elm bark. Makes a real pretty brown. Of course, I put the colors in my super fat. And so they're already diluted and dissolved to some degree. So there's that one. And then I'm gonna move you. Try to keep you where you can see. I love to watch this turn blue. This is that alkanet root again. Looks like Grandma's blueberry cobbler. Sounds like my phones are ringing. You can't put much of this stuff in there. Ah, there's Meggers coming to the back door. She's working today. Gotta go let her in. Okay, it's been about an hour. I've been just stirring. You know, you get the crispies. I just been stirring it down, all of them. And let's see what the temperature is on these. I think they're gonna be, this one's gonna be ready. Yeah. These here just got slightly below too. I got sidetracked. I was helping somebody with something else. And so if you ever get it too cool, you can turn the crock pot back on low and heat it slowly back up and just watch the temperature. But these are just slightly under 160. So it'll be okay for me to go ahead and mold it. And so I've got my essential oils. And I'm going to scrape out the jars. And then I will blend that together and put it in the mold. And so, and when you blend it, you just want to blend it till you don't have any more shininess. See how shiny this is? And sloshy. And if you don't blend it till it's completely blended, then your essential oils will come out of the soap in the mold or on the curing rack. And to show you what it looks like when it's opaque, see, we're just getting the crispies going. And here, we're just going to keep stirring it until we get an opaque look and don't look glossy. Okay, now see, all blended. All right, so now I'm gonna do all of these crocks one at a time and whatnot. I'm gonna bring you back and show you how I do this mold swirl. You'll like that. All right, as you can see, I stirred that one so it don't have many crispies, but this one here is crispy. And I'm going to turn it over. And then I'll put the essential oils on it. But now this one here has gotten real crispy. See that? See how thick it is? So I'm actually gonna clean the spoon off, put the lid on, and stick it on high for just a little bit and heat that little booger back up. And that's what I do because I got sidetracked helping. And this one, now these here are good. It's not too thick and too crispy, just lightly crispy. So I'm gonna just turn it off. Stir it up and put the lid on it to keep it warm till I can get to it. I gotta do that other one first. Okay, I heated both of these up just a little bit, and now they're more fluid and ready to go. And so now I can pour the essential oils on those. And this one's ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the essential oils on top of it, even though I'm not really ready to stir it and work with it. I find that that works okay. And then I'm going to do this one next. This is number 1, and that's the sandalwood, and that's number 23 with the alkanet root. And that alkanet root you can't use much, but that's what you do. You just heat those little boogers back up. Okay, now I heated this one up big time. I did change my mind and put those on low just for a little bit, but I have to have real fluid soap to do a pot swirl. So I put this on high and heated it up, and we'll check the temperature. I'm pretty sure it's going to be too hot. We'll see. Whew. Well, it says it's not, but it looks it. This one says it's right on 160. This is a different one. I thought I'd double check it. Okay. It says it's ready. So we'll do that pot swirl. Called it a pot squirrelman. And so you don't put the color in first. You put the essential oils in first. And you get those mixed up real good. This is bar number 7, my patchouli soap. So I sort of like it to have a tie-dye appearance. Okay. This is turmeric. Put a little pile of that right there. Not that much. Okay. This is activated charcoal. There we go. Put a pile of it right there. This is this paprika or annatto seed? Paprika. All right. Sometimes I do the annatto seeds. Yeah, just sometimes I do annatto seeds and sometimes I do paprika. Okay. And then this is your alkanet root. Now it's about a half a teaspoon. And then you just start stirring. And swirling. And this just has a tie-dye appearance when it's cut. And people seem to really like that. And the patchouli and the ginger grass are natural euphorics, so it sort of goes with the 70s theme. And you can put more red or more yellow. Less black. That was a chunk of soap that got hard. Didn't get colored. All right. And there's our 70s soap. Okay. Hey everybody, do you ever have days where you feel like you got ran over by a truck and it was a cement truck? That's one of these days for me. It's Monday and I got all this soap to cut and we did the cooking on it. Now we got to cut it. And I think I'm going to be doing this in 2 different videos, part 1 and part 2. I don't even know where this part's going to come out. This may be the beginning, this may be in the middle of part 2, who knows. So anyway, so we got all this soap to cut, and on Friday, I had a really busy day. And then Saturday, I had lotion making classes. Plus, I had to do some product videos for somebody, test videos and stuff. And then I had the cruise in, and at like 9:30 at night, my store was still packed, and the cruise in was over. I had my first pickpocket, but I got all my stuff back. And then I got to cut all this soap on Monday. And yesterday I had my phone stolen. I had to also do videos on Sunday to finish up the videos. I had my phone stolen. Took hours to get that sorted out. I got me another one. And I'll tell you that story if we have time. And so anyway, so let's get to cutting some soap. I thought I'd just show you how awesome the Essential Depot soap cutter is at cutting soap. So what I'm going to do is, instead of putting my face on here so much, I'm going to zero in you down here on this here table here. Alright, so stay with me. Alright, this is bar number 5. Alright, and we're gonna get her out of the basket, give her a tweak, get her out of the mold. Oh, look what I did with my spoon. That was my fault. I didn't tap it afterwards. Oh, you can't see. I didn't tap this mold up and down enough after I swirled it. That was totally my fault. Anyway, oh, but I should show you how to fix that, and I should fix it before I cut it, if I can. Let's see. Now, it's been a couple of days since I made this soap, so it's not going to let me do it. Let's try it, because this soap's too dry. The scraps I got here. So let's see about this other one. See if it's got any of those. And see, now I got some fresh soap that's wet.
My iron was okay, actually, on all that work, so I meant to bring you a copy of that, printer. Well, I use one that actually has a toner cartridge, but I'm still, and we make hundreds of copies, so.
You're right.
Let's see, let's do
Okay. So now we got that hole patched up. So now we can cut this one, and we won't lose any soap in the process. And so now we can.
I just need somebody to pull it all together, because frankly, I just don't have time. And there's conflict of information, yeah.
So there is our bar number 5. So easily cut and so pretty. This is the one where you put a layer of the clear soap, a layer of the red soap, a layer of the clear soap, and then swirl the red soap over into little swirls on the top. Isn't that pretty? All right. So number 5, all done for.
Scare tactics of
I call it the X sometimes. Sort of looks like an X. Or now it sort of looks like a 7 on that one. Okay, so now we'll start with another one.
not being in the sun.
Okay, everybody. This is that soap that totally freaked out and went all bubbly and blowed out, where I left the crock pot on instead of cutting it off. And this is like, it's been in the mold for like 4 days. But it's just been crazy. I haven't been able to cut my soap when I normally do. Doing! There went the piano. And so, of course, with no superfats, it makes it really hard. It already feels cured. And this right here can be immediately added to laundry detergent recipes. So, and see, it's just beautiful white. It may be a little, I mean, I cooked the daylights out of it. It might be a little high in lye. So, but it's suitable for laundry detergent, I think. And you go slow when you've let your soap get really hard before cutting. You just go really slow because we don't want to break a piano string. Alright. And I'll touch it to my tongue. No popping. Just lots of soap flavor. So it's not lye active. And it's ready for laundry detergent. 2 of these per recipe, I bet, will be just perfect. So that gets that out of the way. Hey, and Miss Meggers, any chance you poke that over there on the curing rack for me? Alright, and now we're going to do bar number 1. This was colored with the slippery elm bark. And it's so awesome to cut your soap with the Essential Depot soap cutter. And so this has essential oils in it, so it was not so firm, even though it's like several days old. And I didn't realize it, but I had 4 loaves of that number 5. So I went ahead and cut those because I'd already showed you 2 of them. And everything, so there we go. And these are all ready to go on the curing rack, and so easy to do. And Meggers is gonna get those. I'm gonna put me scraps in the scrap bin. I got some of those for sale now. I gotta post them on the Essential Soap buying page and get those sold. This is bar number 23. And it is colored with alkanet root, which is purpley wine colored, but when it is added to hot processed soap, the heat turns it blue. And this is just 1/4 of a teaspoon for a double batch. If you go darker, you can get midnight black with a tablespoon. And but I always concerned myself that I would end up with black, or really almost black, suds running down people's shower walls, and they would be unhappy. So I started using a smaller amount. Well, I put those scraps over there, Megan, like you were supposed to take those over to the curing rack, I guess. Yeah. We're making a soul train. We're pushing them down the table to Meggers. And she's poking them on the shelf. And so now, whoop, forgot my scraps. This is bar number 3. And it is our woman's bar. It is becoming the rage of women all over the world. I shipped this one out all over. This one is really, really, really desired.
And we have eaten butter for years, real butter, not, you think this is better, but it's not. We don't, we don't use, now, we use the real thing. Why would you buy that? Well,
And so here we go. Another loaf. It's so easy. Look at this 4-day-old soap sitting in the mold. Heck, it could have been 5 days. And it's just cutting beautifully.
so my kids go.
No issues.
They know they can't get in a box anymore. But they go through and they'll see something, take it off the shelf, and
And look how fast this goes. I got all this soap almost done out of the Essential Depot molds, and I only cut 2 loaves without you. That is if my memory holds right. I don't think I turned the camera back on to cut those 2 because I just cut 2 and then I realized I had 4 of those. All right, 1 more to go. All right, let me get these scraps up out of the way. And so here we go. Now we're going to cut some soap from my father's mold. And if you look at these, you will see this one is slightly skinnier. It was the first one that he ever made by himself, and he accidentally got the dimensions wrong and made it too skinny. So I mound this soap up in this one, so it's taller, and that way they still get the same amount of soap, just a skinnier loaf. And what I do is I open up my soap cutter, because the Essential Depot cutter can cut anything. Sometimes, if the bar is longer, it just has to have a little help. And so what I do is I plan it out by making a pre-cut, and I've got my amount that needs to be cut, and then I cut slightly past it with a butcher knife. And that cuts it in 2. Then I line up my pre-cut and cut. And I wish Essential Depot made a skinny mold like this, because look how you can just hold that in your hand so perfectly. And the sandalwood makes just the most beautiful brown. And of course, I have to make this much of this every week to keep up with demand. And I'm afeared it's going to get worse as summer progresses. We will see. And so that's the rest of that loaf. And then there is another one. I have to make 3 double batches every week. Do the pre-cut. And then just past the line, because I might go sideways or something. Cut it in half. Ta-da! All cut. And these, of course, being slightly wider. which is the correct length, the correct width. Scraps.
Even if you, even if you don't do anything except what's on this paper.
This is the one that's just a touch long. This mold is longer than the others, and I always end up with an extra chunk on the end, and Randy likes that piece. So I'll cut that off for him. And when you make homemade molds, you get all these variances. One skinny, one a little longer. But it's just so awesome. You can cut any size soap nearly. Randy's over there. Oh, what now? Oh, thank you. And this one, for some reason, I didn't have enough to go all the way to the end. It happens every now and then. I've never quite understood why. There we go.
My grandpa just sent my path to UAB, and she didn't return it, she's in it, and I don't know how to make that doctor's on it, so this she's.
And there we go. Beautiful soaps. Oh, those are particularly pretty. Look how pretty that come out.
What is it pretty?
These were cooked in the turkey cooker. Somehow I ended up with a little bit of
She called me and said,
a residue. It is. We ended up, there must have been some poppy, bar number 23 was put in that mold, and we missed a little speck when we were cleaning the mold. There we go. The things that happen in the soap room. We can't let no poppy seeds go out and get that off. There we go. We found one little poppy seed right here. There we go. Now we've been depoppied. Alright. And then there is our bars. Ta-da! Ta-da, ta-da! Ta-da, ta-da! And what would that take me? What was that, 15, 20 minutes? I mean, it's just it takes no time. I did get it all out of the soap molds. I took a break and got it all out of the soap molds and got it ready to go on there. All right.